Mr. President,
Senator from Oklahoma.
I ask to be recognized for up to 10 minutes.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I did not sign the conference report on this legislation that we're considering right now, and I did not do it for a number of the same reasons that were articulated by the senator from Arizona. However, let me just mention there are some good provisions in this bill. It does increase the size of our military, both Army, Marines, Air Force, and the Navy. However, it authorizes 30,000 new positions in terms of Army troops in fiscal years 2011 and 2012, but provides no funding, which means the Army is going to have to take it out of its hide somewhere else. This concerns me very much. It does provide a pay raise. That's good. It expands TRICARE. That's good. Also increases, adds 8 congressionally appointed members to the independent panel. That's the panel that will consider the QDR. That was a program of Senator Thune's, and it does do that, and that's good. It provides $350 million for Train and Equip. Train and Equip has been, Mr. President, one of my programs for a long period of time. It's one that is really we're getting the most out of right now, and I'm pleased that that's in there. It also does add some funding for the new AFRICOM. AFRICOM is taking the place of, it used to be divided into 3 different commands: the European Command, the Pacific Command, but now it's in one. However, even though AFRICOM is good and General Ward is doing a great job, it wasn't adequately funded in terms of resources. Now it is much better. We have extra funding in there. Now, having said that, I would have to say that our modernization and the things that we've been trying to do, I've been trying to do since I've been serving in this body and on the Armed Services Committee, the modernization program, that's been kicked down the road. It seems like all we ever do around here is take care of what's on fire at a given time. Now, President Obama said in his February '09 speech to a joint session, he said that he would push for removal of Cold War era equipment that we do not need. Now, let me just suggest that I agree with that statement. That's not what we did, though. We're still using the Bradley fighting vehicle of the 80s, M1 Abrams tank of the 70s, the Paladin. They were using the Paladin back when I was in the Army, and it's still being used. Now, we do have the PIM program to upgrade it, but nonetheless, that program is there. Terminates the C-17 program. Now, fortunately, we were able to get some things in the defense appropriations to correct that. It terminated the F-22 program. I can remember, Mr. President, when that program was first introduced, we were going to have some 900 vehicles. And as it turned out, now that was dropped down to 750, and this was terminated now at 187. Let's keep in mind that the F-22 is the only 5th generation fighter that we have, and other countries, China, Russia, are cranking theirs out now, getting ready. I think the worst part of this, though, was what they did to our missile defense system. The chart, it's a very complicated thing, but the chart will show that in the boost phase, we only have 2 capabilities, airborne laser and the kinetic energy booster. Those were, for all practical purposes, terminated. That's the easiest place to knock down an incoming missile if you can get it during the terminal phase. It cut down the number of interceptors that we have in Alaska and California. But to me, the worst part is, and we've talked about this on the Senate floor over and over again, is it eliminated our ground-based interceptor capability that was ongoing in Poland. And I was there during this time. I talked to the Poland Parliament as well as the Czech Parliament to encourage them to let us have that capability there. I remember a member of the Parliament asked me, he said, "Are you sure that if we do this and take a controversial position in allowing an interceptor capability to take place, that America won't back down?" And I said, "I'm absolutely certain we won't," and obviously we did. I'm very much concerned about that, and I wish there were time to go into it, and there is not. But I would just say this. we are pretty well protected with our capability, even though they decreased it in this authorization bill in Alaska and California. But that's something coming from the West. Something coming from the East is a different situation. And we needed this capability. I know that the administration says that we already have the capability of knocking down a short and a medium term Patriot with our SM-3 and our THAAD and so forth. The problem with that is I'm not concerned about that as much as I am the long-range capability that we know. Our intelligence says that Iran is going to have this capability by around 2015. If we had stayed with our program to have this capability in Poland, we would, in advance of that, have the capability of knocking down an ICBM coming toward the United States. As it is right now, we will not have until around 2020. Well, if our intelligence estimate's right, that means that we have a 5-year period between 2015 and 2020 where we're pretty much naked on the East Coast. Let me ask, because I know there's another senator who wants part of this time, how much time do we have remaining on our side?
11 and a half minutes.
Oh, all right, that's fine. I am very much concerned about some of the other things that have been approached on this. One is how the lack of testing capability for our existing stockpile of nuclear capability. I'm concerned about the additional money, some $560 million to continue development and procurement of the alternate engine. We debated this over and over again. And the end result, if this continues in the way that it is right now, is it would eventually knock us down by about 50 vehicles of the Future Combat System, the F-35, and this is something that should not take place. And while it does prohibit this authorization bill, the Gitmo detainees coming into the United States, it does allow for detainees to be transferred into the United States 45 days after the president has submitted a plan to Congress. It doesn't say that Congress has approved the plan, it just submitted the plan to Congress. So I think this is something anytime I look at what has happened in the capability that we have there at Gitmo, and to think that we would shut that down for no reason that I've ever been able to determine, that is concerning. The last thing I would mention is that if we look at our defending America, we're down now to a very small percentage compared to where we've been in the past, percentage of GDP. During the Gulf War, our defense spending was 4.6%. It was 6% during the Reagan buildup. And if this continues on the road that we're on now, it would be a 3% of GDP by 2019. I'd only remind you, Mr. President, that we went through the same thing back at the beginning of the Clinton administration. This line right here is a baseline, and the Clinton budget is the red line down there. So we're talking about a degradation of some $412 billion in that period of time. On the heels of that, and I remember so well the jubilant cries that the Cold War is over, we don't need a defense anymore. Nonetheless, I see that coming on the horizon. I'm very much concerned about that, and for that reason, I will be opposing the vote that we'll be facing in just a short period of time.